Hello, my friends, it's March 27th, 2017, and it's time for today's big story. We got a real Monday type of story today, which means it makes you go, ugh, because that's how I feel on Monday. Something weird's going on, and it's related to LEGO City Undercover on the Switch. So LEGO City Undercover came out on the Wii U, and now it is getting a port to the Switch, the PS4, the Xbox One, maybe even PC, I don't know. But I've been excited for it because I liked the Wii U version, but the load times were horrendous. It really killed the game for me. And the developers have said they've worked on that for all these new versions, including the Switch version, so I figured, oh, I'm going to pick it up on here and I'll give it a go this time. But now I have another reason that's going to have me holding back from getting it. So a box has popped up at retail for LEGO City Undercover. It looks like the official case, and on the very bottom of the case it says, Internet Required. Why would this game need the internet? It's not a constantly online game, it's not an MMORPG or anything like that. So then you look at the flip side of the box, and the flip side says, up to 13 gigs storage required for game download. So, you're looking at the retail version of the game, which obviously has a cartridge, and on the back it's saying you have a 13 gig download that is required. As you know, the Switch only has 32 gigs of storage inside until you get an expansion through a micro SD card. So, that's not a lot of space to work with. And we posted earlier in the week that last week, that the eShop version of LEGO City Undercover was 7 gigs. So if this is to be believed, you would download the 7 gigs from the eShop if you're going only the digital version. And if the retail version needs another 13 gigs, how much of that 13 gigs is in the 7 gigs you're downloading on the eShop? Is any of it there? Could it be another 13 gigs on top of the 7 you download on the eShop? Because the original game on Wii U was very close to 20 gigs, so the 7 plus this 13 on the back of the box here would make sense. And perhaps the game card itself for Switch has 7 gigs worth of content, and then you need to download the 13. So I mean, all that makes sense, but that's speculation, and obviously Warner Brothers isn't talking about this, so we don't know what's going on. It's just a little nerve-wracking. Now, there are Switch game cards that are big enough to hold the entirety of LEGO City Undercover. There's 32 gig Switch game cards. There's also 16 gig, which wouldn't cut it here. But 16 gig would obviously do a bit more than what is required of the total storage for the game, so you wouldn't have to make as big of a download. So we don't know what's going on here. Is this a complete mistake? Did Warner Brothers skimp on the cartridge size to keep the cost down and then force the download on consumers? Is this just incorrect information? Because if you look at the boxes for the game on Amazon or GameStop or anything like that, none of the versions, including a Switch, show this Internet Required label on the front, and obviously we don't get to look at the back. So there's a whole bunch of different explanations here, and unfortunately only one of them would be good, and that would be it's a mistake, but I really doubt that it's a mistake. Speaking of that, Entity on Go Nintendo says this has to be a mistake. I hope you're right, my friend, I really do. I want it to be a mistake, but I honestly don't think it is. And it's going to be something to worry about in the future with Switch games. Perhaps third parties are going to cut their costs by going with smaller storage sizes for their Switch game cards and then force the consumer to download. So the cost is passed on to the consumer because the consumer has to buy a micro SD card to expand the storage of their Switch. Obviously, I think most Switch users are going to buy that eventually anyway, but it's not something you want to be forced into just to play a game. If you're buying a physical game, you don't want to download another 13 gigs of storage, especially when it's not a game that's focused on online. If it was a game that focused on online content and an online universe or something like that, you know, something along the lines of Destiny, then you understand there's going to be big downloads involved. But this is not a game that has online play. This has local co-op, and it's focused on a single-player story. Alright, my friends, that's today's big story for March 27th, 2017. Thanks for watching and liking and subscribing and commenting and all that good stuff. It's very much appreciated. I'll be here for tomorrow's big story, whatever that may be, and I hope you'll join us to see what it is too. So until then, have a lovely day, have a lovely evening, and I will see you in a few short hours. Hey guys, RMC here from Go Nintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot.